Welcome into hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything here on the show, and happy Sunday morning to everybody. Ryan Muma here with you. Kateless here today.
No Kate the Great.
No Kate the Great.
She is probably at the ambiance cleaning up
Yes.
as this airs.
Yes.
And still, knowing Kate, probably not exhausted quite yet, but she'll be exhausted this evening.
No, I think you're right. She is still on adrenaline going.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And she is herding cats to get that
Yes.
place cleaned up.
Agreed.
Yes.
I was going to say cattle, but I'm not sure.
No,
Cats.
my husband has always
She's doing
said,
all of it.
My
Yeah.
husband's always said, raising 3 daughters is like herding cats. You just don't do
Yes.
it. You just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
So
kind
I
of
think you're right. She might
try.
be herding cats. Yeah.
It's a
Big
great
night
point.
last night.
It was a big night last night, and again, we want to spend a couple minutes again to thank everybody for coming out. Obviously, always, the build up to it, the night of it, and then the day after. It's always such a magical experience. It's a lot of fun, and again, it's the same every year, but there's always something different and new, and the artwork is always tremendous. When you go through the auction and get to see all the beautiful different pictures that have been painted and put together and whatever. And again, just all the money that was raised in the food, is always tremendous. And the
Well,
amount of food, it's amazing.
Being the 15-year, the food was extra special, but also the program was extra special.
100%.
So
Oh, yeah.
that
100%.
hopefully the audience listening right now on air can find something on Facebook or maybe on the website, because my guess is Kate's going to put up some of the stuff from the program, because
Oh, good point.
it was really.
Doesn't she always
Pretty cool.
anyways?
Yeah.
Does she? Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yes.
I
I
think
was
she
just
always does.
guessing that happened.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
this
no,
year
it's-
should be no exception.
It's always amazing. You know what I mean? Every single year. So again, thank you to everyone who made obviously the amazing effort to be out there and to support, because that's really what it is.
I
It's
like,
just to
Ryan, how
support.
you said magical. Because immediately don't we all kind of think of Disney World and Disneyland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been programmed to think that that's magical.
Yes.
I think there's something to be said about this is incredibly magical too. I love that word, because
Agreed.
you just sit there and you're in awe of how our community comes together. And it's not just Adams County, it's other counties. It's across the river, obviously.
Right.
Over in Marion, where Kate lives, we have a lot of support from there, especially
Absolutely.
around the Palmyra Philly area. Especially.
Absolutely. It's just amazing. And I know we did a show several times ago that we talked about what a giving community we are and how fortunate we are to live here. And wow, you really saw that last night.
Always do.
Just amazing. You just sit there. Sometimes I don't even know how to bid because I'm just too busy watching. Does anybody else
Right.
have that problem?
Right.
I don't bid. I'm like, oh, that was
That
awesome.
Oh, I
All
should've
right, good job.
been on that.
It's always a great way to start off the year, because we got more things to come this year.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of New Year's, Ryan, I think today we're talking about
Max
New Year's
ready.
resolutions.
Max ready to go right in.
Moving on.
He was done. He's ready.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
No,
was
but
a
I thought that
good-
would be a good tie into it,
was,
because
it
we're
was.
talking about New Year's resolutions
Done with the
today.
thank yous. He's on
That
to
was
the
awesome.
new. He's done with it. But
yeah.
no, and that's where we want to go.
Yeah.
And there is for me personally, it is a love-hate relationship with New Year's resolutions, because I, for the last couple of years, haven't done one. I just kind of am like,
I never do them.
right. Am I
just
actually
can't.
going to do it? Am I actually going to, go forth with my year and actually fulfill this? Now, have I had some of the past? Yeah, like everybody else, you do. I'll go around the room and we can deep dive into it. Mac, you already said it. You've never done one, or you don't do that.
I just don't.
Penny, have you ever done a New Year's resolution?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
But being a mental health therapist, I have done presentations on this particular topic. And why do we set New Year's resolutions? Why do we succeed? And most of the time, why do we fail?
Right.
What's
Right.
with the new year, new me kind of thing? Like, what's with that?
Well, I think it just gives you this sense psychologically, a sense of like a new beginning. And it's just like you can kind of like erase everything you did not accomplish in the past. And it allows you to kind of like go, it's all new. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of
No,
explaining
but
it.
it's funny because so it was before New Year's, but at church, and I don't remember who it was, and I was like, it was after Christmas, but before New Year's, and I was like, oh, did you have a good holiday? And she's like, I can't wait for the New Year. And sometimes you just have one of
Yeah.
those years, right?
Yeah,
And you
that's a
just
good
need
point.
that. So it's not necessarily what you haven't accomplished. You just need that fresh new start.
Fresh new start. That's a good way of looking
Yeah.
at it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I think
don't
to
know.
answer your question, yes, I do have one, but I think more as I've gotten older, become older, whichever way you want to say that. I almost I try to have a new thought
Yeah.
to focus on versus a verb.
Oh, I like that.
Because
point.
I am not always good at verbs. I like verbs. I like being a doing person, but sometimes there's just too many doings
Yeah.
that sometimes I can't do them all. And
That's
so
a
it's
good
just like, I
point.
want to change my thinking for this particular year. I want to be more positive. I want to be more this.
Oh,
or
I
that.
love that.
Laura, have you?
Off and on over the
Off
years.
and on, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever
I mean,
succeeded?
the number of times I have dedicated my first week of January to exercise.
Like everybody else. That's such a good point.
Over the years, I finally just meh, whatever on that one.
That's the cliche one. I think.
Exactly.
That's the most cliche of them all.
Exactly.
And that's the thing too.
But it
like,
does make sense that everybody does that because you just spend the holidays stuffing your fat
Yeah.
face.
so true.
Eating and
So
sitting and yeah.
So you're like,
Fun.
I'm gonna be healthy. You
And
know?
I love it, and you're right. It is a cliche, or it's the ones that you hear all the time. It's the I'm gonna
I've
get
done
healthy.
others too. It's just
I'm
that
gonna
one's
read
funny.
more. I'm gonna XYZ. Now I do want to say this, and I think we all would agree. If that is your New Year's resolution, go do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Like,
mean,
don't
that's
let it
awesome.
deter. Don't deter yourself from doing it just because we're joking about it. But it's the truth though. It's one of those deals where it comes up all the time. I've gotten to a point in my wise years that I just I don't know. I think I'm more of the mindset, and I kind of realized it more this year that it is a new year, so I'm just gonna be better. I'm just gonna be better. You know what I mean? And I think overall that's what we all strive to do, and/or should strive to do throughout the year. Even if you've been great the first month of the year, you should be greater the second month, or whatever. I think that's just kind of where I'm at, and again, all it comes back to be a better dad, be a better husband, do more activities with the kids, do this, do that, do the other. I've kind of just gotten to that point. I just want to do more. So I don't know if I necessarily call it a resolution or less just
Kind of like Penny was saying.
yeah.
It's a change
Yeah.
of focus.
Now let me
Which
ask.
also comes with
Yeah.
the new beginning, the new why not? I like this approach.
I do. I do. And to kind of go along the lines of it and really tap into the psychological side, again, you kind of got into it where you're again, for lack of a better way of saying it, you preach this to different people like it is important. You know what I mean? In a good way.
Yeah.
But again, to circle back to it, why is it even important that we as a person, let's ask it this way, set goals for ourselves? Because we've had that conversation before, and this is essentially a goal.
Pretty much, yeah. This is the goal.
Right.
This is the one you're starting with, the
big
big
one, yeah.
one.
And I feel like that's the problem with resolutions. So I'm still not letting Penny. I'm letting Penny ponder.
That's right. Yeah, ponder,
Yeah,
Penny.
you can tell I'm
Because when you put pressure on yourself like that, okay, so like exercise. 2019, I dropped my kid off at college, my first kid to go to college. I had to drive to Arkansas to pick up my dad. I had to bring my dad back to Quincy. I started exercise class within 2 days of my dad showing up, and I have not missed once.
Nice.
It was not a New Year's resolution. It was, I've got to do this for my mental health
Yeah.
and for my health and for my betterment and da-da-da-da-da, kind of what you two are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I think the problem with New Year's resolution is the pressure you put on yourself for it.
That's a good point.
Because I didn't really put pressure on myself for that random date in August.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've stuck to it. It was just, I'm going to make this change as opposed to, I don't know, this
That's a-
thing
no, I think
that
it's
we
a
all
great
do to
point.
ourselves. with the New
Ponder,
Year's
Penny. I
resolution.
think it's a great point. I think it is because you internalize if I don't do this, well, now I've failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
think
If I
that's-
don't work, okay, we keep doing the workout one, but I think that makes sense. All right, first of the year, I'm working out. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 3 times a week. We're going to do the whole thing. It's going to be great. Blah, blah, blah. And it might be good for the first week. It might be good for the second week. But then it's all of a sudden life comes at you because life is crazy and you only go once or you only go twice. Or maybe it's a week where you didn't get to go at all because your kid got sick or whatever the case. Well, now you feel like you failed because you're like, well, see how easy it was for me not to go. You know what? And then you fall back into a cycle. Whereas, again, it goes back to we should always set goals for ourselves. That's important. But I do think that's a great point. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves with resolutions.
So, okay, so this is, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, Ponder Penny, go
I'm
ahead.
done pondering. So I think what is happening in you that is so different than just setting a goal. Setting a goal is just words on a black and white piece of paper. Okay. You write it down. You're like, this is what I'm going to work on. And sometimes people don't even identify it on a piece of paper, which I think is really, really good. It's only in their head. What happened in you that made you successful is that you knew there was a good reason why you needed to be doing it.
Yeah.
There was this emotional connection to the concept of why you were doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because you knew I needed this for my mental health because you were going to be doing a lot. You're empty nesting it, but at the same time you were bringing your father home.
Right.
You knew for your mental health you needed to do it. And so there was like this investment in it that emotionally, psychologically, you felt so connected to that made you even more motivated. So we can sit here on January of 10th or whatever the day is and say, I want to do this. But until we have that emotional connection to the particular goal, we won't achieve it. Because we have to feel it. We have to know that we want it so bad that we're going to make it happen. Did that make sense?
That makes total
Absolutely.
sense. Yeah.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
You have to, again, the emotional connection. I totally pick up what you're putting down. Like because again, that's where it almost kind of turns into, like, especially if you are a person that is going to make a New Year's resolution, go for it. But it's also, I think, a part where you're like, okay, not damper expectations, but like keep it realistic.
There you go.
And I know I keep coming back to the exercise thing. I apologize. But like, I'm going to go 3 times a week. Well, hold on. What does your schedule look like? So like for me,
Yes.
3 times a week might not even happen because the kids are in dance now. We may sign them up for gymnastics. We may do, X, Y, Z. And it's like, well, that just takes away 2 days. And then, I have, I bowl in a league. So like that's going to be Wednesday. So then I'm not going to be able to maybe do that day because of my work schedule picking up the kids. What time do I pick up the kids? What time do I have to work? All this stuff comes into a factor. Okay, well now my 3 days has turned into maybe 1.
Yeah.
Or do you go, again, I have this treadmill that's in my office and I've been walking on it. And it's, every once in a while I'll do that. Maybe that's the goal that you set. Hey, I'm going to walk a little bit more. You know what I mean? And that's the start. And then all of a sudden you do that, because I've had it where exercise has been, this is what I'm going to do post college, right? Where I don't have as much time.
Right.
And I jump back into it thinking I got to go all out. Well, then I completely just mentally check out because, well, I'm not prepared for that, or if I miss a day, well, now I've let myself down, and all of this. It's a trickle down effect.
Because what you're identifying is it reasonable and obtainable,
Right.
And that's what we have to be realistic with ourselves, and can we really attain it,
Yes.
and I think that's one of the big steps of establishing a goal. Is it reasonable and attainable? Because I can set some crazy goals and there's no way I'm going to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So you got to be realistic with yourself. Go ahead.
I'm going to take a quick time out. We're going to come on back. We got more to touch on this. Again, we're talking New Year's resolutions, the whole nine. Again, big thank you to everyone who came out yesterday for, of course, Rhinestones and Rodeo. Of course, the big, 15th anniversary of it all, or the 15th one. It was so much fun. The artwork, the food, everything was amazing. Everyone was dressed up beautifully or handsome, depending on, how you want to be portrayed. But no, seriously, appreciate everyone for doing that. Quick time out. Again, this is Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. We'll be right back.
Okay, you still, because I can't see right.
Hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. That was Penny trying to adjust the.
I was sorry.
mic.
I
Yeah.
can't see you.
It's okay.
I'm like hitting this short
You
spot.
need my chair. My chair is actually very
slouching.
tall.
No, this
I'm-
is perfect.
I think I'm slouching, Penny. It's my fault.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I
Sit up straight.
changed around,
Straight.
Mac.
Dang it.
Fix your
Fix your
posture this
posture.
year. It's
What are you talking
2026.
about? New Year's resolution. Fix your Yes. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Talking
We're all
about New Year's
sitting up.
resolutions. Again, thank you to everyone who came out to Rhinestones and Rodeo last night. It was a ton of fun. Food, artwork, everything. And again, just always, as we put it, a magical night, no doubt. But we transitioned into, as many, New Year's, right? New Year's resolution, the start of 2026. And here we are. Laura, you were talking during the break. You kind of had a Laura spin you wanted to put
I
on.
do. Okay, so you were describing from a psychological standpoint how my exercise. I have been a runner in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a Zumba girl. I have been, oh my gosh, I used to do
Zumba?
Dancercise
love
back
Zumba.
in the 80s. It was called Dancercise.
Oh, exercise,
I mean,
yes.
I've done the gambit, whatever. But sticking with something. And you said because of the emotional connection, and because I didn't just stick with it, I actually added another day. But I've tried the third day and I didn't,
Yeah.
it wasn't attainable. I couldn't quite fit that third day into my schedule. Okay, but here's the question. Some things are not like goals or resolutions like that. So maybe there doesn't need to, this is the question. Does there need to be an emotional connection to create a habit?
Okay, you're talking
So
about
I'm thinking just habits. They say like habit,
Yeah.
you could establish a habit in, I don't know what they say,
6
60
weeks.
days or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Depends. I feel like it
But
depends.
like that, I understand after you explained it why I managed to actually stick with it for so long. Because I mean, when I was running in Tulsa, I think I managed to stick with it for about 3 years. That was pretty decent. But I don't remember there being a
So are you-
emotional connection
Are you
to that.
thinking like, my mind goes to this, like, hey, I fell into a trap of not waking up as early as I need to, so I would rush.
I'm staying up too late.
So now
that's
I'm
actually
gonna-
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I've gotten into a habit of staying up late. Both the kids were home for
Right.
an extended break. They stay up late. Now I'm staying. So I've got to get a bedtime routine started again for an earlier. So the habit part.
So you don't necessarily have an emotional connection. Sorry, Penny. You don't have
No,
an
no, you're
emotional
good.
connection, but it's a habit.
I want to
Do you have to have that?
Create.
Well, I think we can define emotional connection in many different ways. It's like
okay.
an investment. You're
Okay.
invested, but there's also a physiological process that's happening within you when you're doing it. You know what I mean? You feel that adrenaline rush. You feel all that because you're succeeding, because you're feeling better about yourself. Da 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 da. But it's in direct conflict with, oh, but it's really nice to hang out with my kids at nighttime, And so
Right.
therefore there's this
Yeah.
scale inside your head that you're trying to balance which one is more important. So I think just as humans, we're always trying to figure out what's more important at that time. And so for you, what you said is that in the evening, it was more important to you to hang out with your kiddos,
Right.
than get up the next morning, even though you really, 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 really wanted to get up in the morning to
Well,
exercise. It was just there was
Right.
enough of one that tilted it more so that in the moment you wanted to be doing that. So there's more, when I say emotional, there's so many different layers within emotion.
Okay.
But you also have this adrenaline rush when you're doing it. And so that feeds you to get up and go do it again and get up and go do it again. And so you had an
Right.
adrenaline rush hanging out with your kiddos, which why wouldn't we?
Well, so I am both staying up late and getting up early. So I am sleep deprived at the moment.
That's a fun
Good job.
combo. That's a fun combo. But even that, sorry, not you got me thinking because I do. I stay up late. But it's also in my mind when the kids go to bed, it's like, all right, now this is me time.
Yeah.
I get to watch my
I remember
show.
those
I get to-
days.
right, and the wife and me are up, so we're just up, right? Now, do I stay up a little too late? Yes, because then I got to wake up super early the next day. Then I always remind myself, like, I'm young, like, I'm only going to do this for so long. But then again, you fall into a trap. So it's finding a balance, no doubt. But I like it, because again, it can be defined in different ways. You don't necessarily have to, I don't have to love going to bed early and
And
I
it
can
doesn't
wake up
even have
early.
to be, I mean, maybe the bedtime thing is more of a goal than a habit. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of,
No, but I like it though. That is a habit. No, I think
Yeah,
it is
it
a
is a
habit.
habit?
Because
Okay.
you have to, like, or not have to, like, how do I want to say it? I'm going to say
I'm just
habit.
trying to distinguish. It feels
Yeah.
like there's a difference. And maybe there's not.
A difference between goal and habit?
Yeah, but maybe there's not.
Well, does
Maybe.
a goal become a habit? Can a goal
Yes, a
become
goal
a
can
habit,
become a habit.
and it's
Yeah.
no longer a goal? It's just part of your
Routine.
routine / habit.
Right.
Yeah. That's what's happened.
Deep thinking. I like
yeah.
this.
Yeah. So I was just curious about the whole 6 weeks to a habit thing. If that's if
Is
there's
that what
any-
is that what they say
if
for
there's any
habits? is 6
foundation
weeks?
in that? I
I've
don't
heard
know.
6 weeks, but also when it comes to like diagnosing people, sometimes there is an adjustment disorder, and in order to morph out of the adjustment disorder category, it has to be 6 months. So I think it's just kind of it. I think it's just up to each person individually. At what point does it become a habit? Does it become a concern in a diagnosis situation?
Well, I think it sorry, now I'm going way deep. I think it can be both. I think you can have a habit become a goal. Because, like, for me, for instance, and I'll just throw, and maybe I'm thinking about this wrong, like my kids, right? So they're getting old enough to where we're going to start to have them create the habit of putting your toys away at the end of the day, right? Before you go to bed. So the habit is we want you to put your toys away because the goal is to have them just do it by themselves. So I'm creating a habit that they
So
don't
you're
think is a
creating.
habit
You want them to create a habit for your goal.
for my goal.
Oh, even that.
Maybe I don't know if that's
okay.
that.
So I don't
but
think it's
like,
their goal. I think
Because
your
it's not
goal.
a habit. It's not a habit yet, but you're wanting it to become
You're
a
trying
habit,
to
which
create a
becomes a long-term goal.
goal. Right.
I like it.
Long-term.
You know
I
what
like
mean?
it.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Will we execute it? We shall see. But it's but that's I think the point. Like
Early workings.
Mm-hmm.
so like I think there's habits in that case that can become long-term goals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because and that goes back to the emotional connection. Like there is a part of it where like for instance, it's very easy for me to just pick up at the end of the day and just do it, done, quick, done, over. But I have to do this habit, even though I don't have an emotional connection to it, because it's also going to make the process a lot longer because they're little. So like it's not. I don't have that emotional connection because my emotional connection is can I just do it quicker to get them to bed quicker?
I agree with that. It's so hard to make the kids do it because you just want it done. But
Right,
it's
but
so
they do the
smart
one
to
now.
make
But
the
they
kids
do.
do it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so smart.
What were you going to say, Penny?
Yeah. So but you got to.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
So
There.
okay, you are creating a habit in a child.
Right.
That's not your habit.
Correct. That's fair.
Your long-term goal as their parent is to create a behavior pattern / habit in your child. So it is still a goal, no matter how you slice it, because it's not become a habit yet.
Yes, yeah.
But you also have to remember, you're not doing the action. It's
Right.
their action that you're wanting to teach them.
That is fair.
You're just pushing
Pushing
them,
it
shoving
along.
and making them go that
Yeah.
direction. So
Guiding
did that
them.
make sense?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
it's not yours, and I think that's where we end up with problems with parenting. Is I can have 110 goals for my children, but until they believe that that's something they need to be doing, and they have that
And that's
emotional
the investment
connection,
that you're talking about.
the emotional connection, the investment in it. It's just words on a paper. It's words out in the air. So they have to
Yeah.
be invested and emotionally connected to why they need to be doing whatever said goal or habit you're wanting to create.
And I'm thinking it could be as simple as picking up my toys at the end of the night makes mommy happy.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
think-
fair.
Yes.
I think
yes.
that can be a investment.
I think that can be an
Connection.
investment. And then they realize that they feel good knowing that mom's happy, but yet they also, the secondary benefit is they feel good about themselves.
Because they're doing what they're
Oh,
asked to
100%.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, then it turns into, that's a whole other can of worms. Then it turns into like a competition of who can pick up the most stuff.
Oh,
And
I
then it
like
turns
that.
into-
My dad taught me that
Who's the
because he was tired of
strongest?
ticking his heel on Lego bricks.
Yep,
Yikes,
yep,
yikes.
yep.
And that hurts.
Oh
terrible.
my gosh. There is okay.
That
I
hurts.
don't I no longer have Lego bricks sticking around the house.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part. There are still some, even with 24 and 25-year-olds.
That's right.
But dog bones hurt just as equally as Lego bricks.
that.
Interesting.
Believe that.
Dog bones.
I'll
That's a
do you
good
one
point.
better. The little figure people that are like the Disney. We have like Disney
Yes.
characters that are very little figures.
Yes.
I've stepped on those a time or two.
Yes.
And those have a lot of different corners and edges. that are
Right.
just like, okay.
Right.
I think my dad might have accidentally either stepped on either one of those like plastic toy soldiers I had or one of those old metal Hot Wheel cars I had.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Many a toys.
Right
Yeah.
on the heel.
Many a toys.
I marvel at my daughter and son-in-law. They have the little 18-month-old. He's picking up his toys at nighttime.
Wow.
Really?
At 18 months.
I don't know where they learned that. It wasn't from this mom.
gonna
Like,
say.
I
It
don't
might
know.
just
I
be
guess
that
sometimes
the
like go to
earlier
bed,
you
I'll pick
start-
up. You know.
It might just be that the earlier
Yeah.
you start it and just like I feel like this goes with all goals. Don't start big. Start as early as you can, but start small.
Smart.
It's like that's what you start small. Don't try to do it right out of the gates because I feel like that's what a lot of people they try to really force it through. like,
Yes.
start small.
That's a
Start-
good
And that's
point.
exactly
small.
what Ryan was saying earlier with the attainable.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, I'm going to exercise 5 days a week.
Right.
If you can
Start-
really only get in 2.
like start with one or two.
Yeah.
And then see where that gets you.
Yeah.
See how you like it.
Create the habit,
Create the habit.
and
Exactly.
then maybe add another.
Yeah.
I tried.
I like
failed.
it. Yeah, full circle.
I like it. Very good.
We're going to take another quick time out. We're going to come on back and wrap up this show next. Right here on, it's not WGM Sports Center. I was about to do that. Hashtag everyone
Habit.
talking about. Hashtag
Yeah,
everything.
habit.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. That's right, Ryan Muma here with you, and of course, Kateless, Mac, Penny, Laura. We're all here except for Kate. And again, thank you to everyone who came out to Rhinestones and Rodeo
It was an
last
awesome night.
It was amazing.
Loved it.
It was a
Awesome.
ton of fun. Awesome. That's right. There it is. Magical, the whole nine. We're talking about New Year's resolutions,
great.
though, and again, just kind of setting goals and habits and everything.
This
Is
is an
there?
uncomfortable talk.
It's one of those where you're like, okay, you got to think a little bit. You got to think a little bit. Is there something that each one of you that necessarily, again, we'll go back to like, isn't a New Year's resolution, but it's something that you've always strived to do? And I know Laura, you did the exercise thing, but just maybe in a mental state where like you've always strived to do, and we all should just try to do.
For me, it's right now what I'm working towards. I want to get my college degree. That's what I
Nice.
decided in. Whenever I graduated high school and started college at John Wood, I just decided like I'm going to get my communications degree so I can
Right.
go into broadcasting, be the better version of Ryan.
Oh,
or
there
be-
it is.
be his
Okay, sure,
partner,
yeah, absolutely.
Nice goal.
or just learn from Ryan.
That's right,
because
okay.
he's incredible.
Good circle
But,
back, that's right.
But that's my goal. That's like I didn't immediately just think beyond that, just because I know like I was talking earlier, start small. So that's the small compared to the rest of my career that I'm hoping to have.
Yeah.
But that's where I got to start. So just
Yeah.
to start small with my degree, just get my degree
like
and
it.
start with that.
I like it. Penny, you got one?
Very good. I like that. Do you guys remember being at that age? You're like,
Yeah.
I want to get my
Do I
college
make you
degree.
all feel old?
Yes, thank you for
Yeah,
pointing
thanks.
that out.
Appreciate
Yes.
that. Yes.
You know, I think for me, I'm in a little bit different spot than I was last year because I have quote quote retired,
Yeah.
and so I don't have a work life that I'm trying to balance with my home life. So I think I'm still kind of in the beginning stages of figuring everything out, even though it's been like 4 months. But I feel like I'm still trying to figure things out and try to figure out who I am and how I am. Even though I know who I am, I shouldn't say it that way because I totally know who
I
I
heard
am.
that's always a tough one to retire, and then you got to figure out what am I going to do now.
Yeah, I think for me, that's very good point. But I think for me, I got to figure out. I know what I could be doing. I just got to figure out how to make it all happen. If that makes any sense,
Right.
because as I've said before, I mean, I always
Like,
have had.
You have an idea what you want to do, but you need the game plan to actually go out and
There
do
you
it.
go. And I sometimes have too many ideas. And so it's like perfecting and figuring out which one am I going to go towards because I just feel like it's such a new world. It is. And I don't know how to explain. I have no idea what this would look like, but it is so different. I feel like I'm in an uncharted territory a little bit, not knowing how to do this, even though I'm enjoying every single day that I'm doing whatever I'm doing, even though I get a lot done. Wow, did that make a lot of sense?
I feel like with
So
that,
I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. I think I'm going to be traveling more. I think I'm going to be spending more time with my children. And I think I will just be a better housewife. That's not what I want to say, but it came out. I want to be a better
You'll kind
version of me.
You'll work a bit more on your house. You'll
Yes.
do some stuff with your house, maybe renovate it a bit. But
Yeah.
like what I was going to say is like simple plans like that are usually the best place to start.
Mm-hmm.
And even just at any time, simple plans like that are they're really easy to follow
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to say they're vague, but there's a lot that you can do to
Mm-hmm.
kind of get there. It's like when you try to be hyper specific with stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you keep trying to force yourself to go down that specific way. But if you keep it simple, you kind of give yourself more options on how to do it.
That's a good point.
I think
Very
that's a
good point.
very good point.
Very good point.
So yeah, just
So
keep it
I
simple.
follow a couple of different people in my profession who talk about the whole work-life balance thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that, Ryan, your question was necessarily about work.
I think that was a broad. It was,
It was
a
very
broad,
broad.
yeah.
But as you're saying that, Mac, the you can't keep it vague when you work for yourself. I mean, there's
Right.
certain
Yes.
steps you have to
Yes.
follow and accomplish.
There
and
needs to be the
da-da-da.
blend of the simple and the specific.
However, there are certain everybody's business does not look like everybody else's. There are certain
Yeah.
ways, like my business is boutique, meaning I have a certain set of clientele. I take care of that certain set of clientele. I get referrals, but I'm not necessarily actively out there, you know, throwing myself out there to bring in more people. I mean, I still get more people,
Yeah.
but that was a big decision for me to make. You know, am I gonna, because my business partner was the guy who went out and brought people in. He was the fisher of clients.
Sure. I like that.
Yeah.
And so that was a big kind of shift, for me, whatever. I took on the city council,
Yes.
so this is another little space I'm filling a give back, kind of do more, give back, broaden the learning thing. Mac, I don't think you ever finish learning. And sometimes you can reach a point in your life where you're like, I gotta do something different.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that I'm changing what I'm doing at work, because city council is typically after hours, but not always. I don't know. So I think just being open to new opportunities and going, yeah, I'll do that. Or equally saying, no, I'm not doing that one.
Yeah.
But being wise enough to pick and choose
a good one.
what works in your life.
You can't be everything all at once.
Right.
But it's nice to be something.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like that. Put that in a frame.
That's good.
Put on a
I like
t-shirt,
that.
wear it around.
I don't know if
Yes.
that answers your question. I
No,
don't
it
know.
does. It again, it was a very broad kind of question. I mean, for me, again, I kind of said it earlier, but like, be a better dad, husband. Kind of do more with the kids. We've already talked about different vacations that we want to take, and whether that's big, small, whatever. And just be better. You know what I mean? Not put maybe so much pressure on myself to do certain things. And similar to what you had said, Laura, like, everyone's situation's different. Not every profession is the same. And so not necessarily comparing myself to anything. Not that I do that now, but like, don't do it as much anymore or whatever.
Well, I mean, you would be amazed. This guy that I was on this webinar with, he's a famous published author, blah, 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 and I'm part of his group. But anyway, he had this guest on, and this guest, I mean, okay, the dude's got multiple $1 million under management. He's written several best-selling books. And there are people in the chat box saying, what do you mean you only work 40 hours a week? You could work 60 hours a week and make twice as much money. And he was like,
No.
I don't want to do that. I want to get off at 2 o'clock and go to my kids' school program.
Yeah.
And the people that were like pushing back in this chat box, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. This was this amazingly successful human being. And the people are saying, but do more. Not necessarily.
No.
It was
And-
wild to be on that
Yeah.
call.
And that's the thing too. Like, again, you can and you don't have to. You know what I mean? If you find time to be like, all right, I could do a little bit more here, there, and the other, like, go for it. you know?
Right.
But I've gotten to a point to where I am doing more, but I also recognize, like, or at least try to recognize what's important. So that goes
Yeah.
back to the kids part. They're going to be starting a little bit more dance, maybe gymnastics, maybe doing some certain things where it's like, I want to be able to, and I do now. I'm very blessed to work here, but if I need to leave early, I need to leave early to go do that. And I'm very happy with that. So, but it's just finding. Again, it goes back to just be better. Just be better.
But don't you think also what you're describing, and I think all of us have, is the emotional connection?
Yeah.
It goes back to the goal is driven by your emotional
Right.
connection, because you're like, I want to be more of this and I wanted to be this. And then for whatever reason, that guy that you're referring to, Laura, he's like, emotionally, I want to be more for my kiddos. It doesn't mean anybody else is doing it wrong. He just
Right.
wanted to be there. Whereas the person who was commenting on the chat was like, no, he was more driven emotionally by the money and
Yeah.
the time and all this other stuff, which is fine. I mean, who are we to judge?
For each their own.
But I think as we're talking about this, and I assume we're close to
We're getting
wrapping
to
it
yeah, this
up,
will be it,
is in order to be successful at whatever you decide you want to do, you have to have little reminders to keep you focused, because our lives are always in competition with the next shiny thing or this activity or da 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 da. We are always in trying to figure out what are we going to do and what are we not going to do, because we're just bombarded with so many opportunities. I think I've always recommended, in your billfold, take a little business card or something like that, write down your thought or your goal or whatever, and just put it in your billfold. Because every time you open up that billfold, you will read, I want to exercise more. So it's just constantly putting something in your head that you want to try to accomplish. I've recommended putting notes in the bathroom, because guess what? Everybody goes to the bathroom. You know, someone, or the kitchen, put it inside the kitchen refrigerator, for example. Just little notes that remind you what you're wanting to focus on. Put it in your car, you know, on your visor. I have something on my visor that whenever I put it down, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm good now, you know, so it's just, you have to have those little things that remind you of what you're wanting to focus on, because there's always something that's going to innocently derail what you're trying to focus on. Does that make sense?
Fair point.
Okay, I
Fair
quit
point.
asking.
No,
Does
that's
that
a
make
very
sense?
nicely done. That's a good way to wrap it up.
Thank
too.
you very
Look
much.
at that. Again, appreciate everyone for coming along for the crazy ride here today. And again, thank you to everyone who came out last night for Rhinestones and Rodeo. But that is all we got. Have a safe and great rest of your Sunday.
Nice.